Well, welcome to the Stables Network or the Charlotte's Bats Baseball and More podcast. Take it away, Rick.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's 6 o'clock or a little after 6 o'clock here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and 3 o'clock over in the West Coast. I'm your host, Rick Curti, the Charlotte Bats. I am the founder and CEO of the Charlotte Bats and our campaign to bring Major League Baseball to Charlotte. But we're also more about that. We're not just about baseball, but we're for all sports. We talk about everything and anything. Nothing's off the table. And like I said, I just tell the truth, and I don't tell people what they want to hear. I just tell them. I just say how I feel, my opinion. So we had a some special go on over the weekend. Apparently, there's a new football league that's out called the XFL. And according to the ratings, they're actually really good. They were actually like a 3.9, a 4.0, 3 point, which are very solid numbers for a new league that's debuting. And of course, people right away are, oh, this is different from the NFL. It's not the NFL. They have no affiliation with the NFL. They do not work with the NFL. They actually made this league to be more un-NFL because the no fun league is that it's been called because it is the no fun league. They fine you for celebrating touchdowns. Fine you for wearing your socks too high. They fine you if you wear a bandana or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so I've been turned off of it for many years, and the game is way too long, and the officiating is horrific. Well, you don't have to worry about that, football fans, because the XFL is here, and they're here to address all the issues that go on in the NFL. They actually have asked the fans. Yeah, they do care about the fans with the XFL, and they want to ask them, how do you feel? What would you like to see in football? What do you hate? And the majority of the people are saying the games are too long, and they are. They're like 3.5, 4 hours long, and so the XFL have done everything they can to make the games shorter. And the games have all been like 3 hours long, little 2.5 hours long. The four games that they showed over the weekend. So it's been great. I've watched it. I've been waiting 2 years for this league. A lot of people tell me to shut up about it so much, but finally it came. Finally it's here, and all the people that told me to shut up about it and it won't last, they're like, "Wow, this is great! I love it. The games are shorter. The officiating is better. It's a lot of transparency. They mic up all the coaches so you can hear the coaches. And what's so great about it is that after a play, no matter if it's a touchdown, a fumble, interception, they just go up and talk to the player and ask them, how'd you feel about that interception you threw? Or how did you feel about that fumble that cost the game? And the players, you could just tell, are like, yeah, get away from me. But no, they just go up there and talk to the players, and good play or bad play doesn't matter. So it's great. It's a lot of fun. I love hearing the play calling because a lot of it is just verbiage that I don't understand. It's just coded verbiage language that they're giving to them, and the broadcasting is great. They have ESPN doing it and Fox, and great analysts are doing it, and they'll just tell you this is what this play means. This is what he's calling. So it makes the game easier to follow. Um, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. I feel like this league will be around for a while, as long as they don't compete with the NFL or move the games like the USFL did when they try to compete with the NFL and all that stuff, and that didn't work out very well. And Vince McMahon is, yes, from the WWE. He's the founder, and it's not the same XFL as 2001. The only thing that's the same is the name. Everything's completely different. The uniforms, the team names, it's all brand new. They have Commissioner Oliver Luck, who's Andrew Luck's father. He's the commissioner, and man, they got Landry Jones for Dallas. Bob Stoops is the head coach. You got June Jones in Houston. They have Kevin Gilbride, who was the offensive coordinator for the Giants when they won the two Super Bowls against the Patriots. He's the head coach for the New York Guardians team. And they have some really good players there. They have some great head coaches. They have a lot of people who used to be NFL players, and uh, it's so much better. It is so much better. You can celebrate touchdowns. They don't fine you for wearing your socks too high. I think the issue they're going to have is with the players. They had a couple players say some naughty words on there, and I'm sure the networks are not going to like. So I think they're going to be like a little TV delay on those things. But other than that, it's great, and they addressed the safety issues. You know how in the NFL when they did a kickoff and the players ran and the guy caught it and he got smashed to smithereens sometimes, and you know the NFL's, oh yeah, those that's a big hit. Well, we all know what's been going on with the NFL and professional football with CTEs, and the XFL said we know CTEs with football, we know there's connection, we know there's related, and we're going to make the game safe. We're going to make it safer. So what they've done is that when there's a kickoff return, the players don't move. They line them up, they don't move, and right when the guy catches it, they start moving. And people see it, and it looks kind of weird, but that's something they wanted to do was they wanted to eliminate the kickoff return. They wanted to make it safer. And man, it's nice. And already the NFL, ooh, we like that. We might take some of your ideas. They steal so many ideas, it's pathetic. The NFL was nothing on originality. They see something, they steal it. They did it with 2001 with the XFL, with the big camera, the eye in the sky. That's from the XFL 2001. The mic'd up coaches and players, that's from the XFL from 2001. They're going to take these ideas, they're going to do. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to buy the XFL from Vince McMahon and make it some type of minor league or developmental league for the NFL. They'll do something because they don't want to see another league. They don't want to see people liking something else besides their product. It's all about money for the NFL. They can care less about player safety. They don't care about their fans. I got a call from the XFL when I bought tickets because I'm going to Los Angeles in mid-March to go see the Wildcats play, and taking my brother, and they actually called me and asked me questions and want to know how my experience was buying tickets. And it's like, wow, they actually care. That's what I love about it. They actually care. They actually have a I get it. It's called Fan, and what it is that they send you like they're like questions to see what do you think, what would you like to see. So they ask you like, who's your favorite team? Who's your favorite player? What would you like to see? How can we make the XFL better? Any complaints you see, what do you like? What you do not like? And they'll actually listen to them, and they'll either will add to it, or they'll take it, or they'll do something. So that's the thing that they wanted to do. They want to put the fans first, which is very refreshing to hear from a professional sports league, because like again, the NFL does not care about their fans. They do not care about their player safety. The other day I saw this movie called Concussion. I don't know if a lot of people have seen it, with Will Smith, which is a true story. And it's about this doctor who found what's that about CTE. He actually named it CTE. And man, the NFL absolutely tried to make his life hell. They threatened him. We're gonna take you to court. They like indicted his boss on like all these federal charges. They threatened to like harm his family. Um, it's crazy. And all this guy said was, "Man, player safety. There's no safety in the NFL, and a lot of these players have brain damage by the NFL, and they know about it. They're not doing anything about it, and it's sad because all these other doctors that work with the NFL at that time knew what was going on, but they didn't care either because it's all about the money, And the NFL, in my opinion, still haven't done nothing about player safety. They still haven't done anything about CTE. They still haven't made the game safer. They don't care. They see that their ratings are up. They see that they're making billions and billions of dollars. Um, the Super Bowl is actually like one of the highest rated in the last 4 years. The last four Super Bowls have been, well, for them, it's been poor ratings. but this Super Bowl had a lot of good ratings. So um, it's great. I hope people watch it. I love the names: the Dallas Renegades, the LA Wildcats. So if you're in Carson, California, in that area, they play at the old StubHub where the Galaxy play. So and they're nice. They're like in a soccer stadium. The Renegades play in the old Globe Life Park. They actually transformed it into a football stadium. So, cities out there, hint, hint, don't get rid of your stadiums. Do what Texas did do what Dallas did, and just refurbish it, make it into another stadium for something else. And you don't have to tear it down because taxpayers like me that pay for that stadium, we don't like to see things torn down when we pay for it. So hint, hint, Charlotte, if you ever get a football stadium for the Panthers, which I know you probably will, don't get rid of Bank of America, make it into something else. So that's what I like what they've done with it, and it's great. They got a team in St. Louis, which is nice to see St. Louis get a team since being screwed by the NFL twice. First with the Cardinals, and then of course the Rams. And I've been hearing rumor that now they're thinking about moving the Chargers to St. Louis because they realize that them being in Los Angeles is not working out. And I would have told you that. LA can barely, support one NFL team, and now they got the Chargers out there who really nobody cares about. They're irrelevant, um, and they're going to be rebuilding. They're actually just today they had parted ways with Philip Rivers. Was not a big Philip Rivers fan, but he's a great quarterback. He's definitely going to the Hall of Fame, and maybe my Panthers will pick him up. We'll see. I don't know. I hope so. They need something. They're going to be pretty terrible in the next 2 or 3 years. So we'll see what happens with him. I think the money is on that he's going to the Dolphins since he bought a home in Florida recently. So good luck to Philip Rivers wherever he goes. And I think he's got about a couple more years left. And he's probably going to go to a team that has a shot of winning a Super Bowl. I would think so, because San Diego ain't going to do it. No, it ain't going to happen with them. But he tried, but it just didn't work out. So they got a team in LA. They have a team in St. Louis. They have a team in Houston called the Roughnecks. Great, great team. Absolutely blew out the Wildcats yesterday. It was like 38-17. And the Wildcats just fired their defensive coordinator right away. So it's a 10-game season. So it's like, if you go 0-2, 0-3, that's pretty much it. Your season's done. So it's a 10-game season, and it runs through the end of April. It's on Fox, ESPN. Watch it. I'm telling you, watch it. If you have that big football withdrawal after the Super Bowl's over, gotta watch these guys. These guys are great, and they get second chances. Some of these players are like, how in the world did the NFL miss these players? Some of these quarterbacks are so good, and some of these players are so talented. And just because they went to a small school and and their name wasn't a household name, they just said, forget about them. And man, a lot of these players, they are definitely going to be in the NFL next season. Definitely. There's just no doubt about it. They're that talented. They're that good. So I think this is a great league for second chances. Since people, if you don't want to be in the CFL or you don't want to be in arena football or whatever, the XFL is great. And so I think this league will stay for a very long time. So that's my take on it. So we've also have some more exciting news coming out of Los Angeles. Apparently, the Jock Peterson trade didn't go through. Dodgers were going to trade him to the Angels. Well, apparently, the deal, forget about it. Jock Peterson's staying with the Dodgers, so he's not going anywhere. And that has to be awkward. Don't you think that a team trades you and then the trade doesn't work out, and then you're like, yeah, we're going to send you back? And how is the reception when you get back? Hey guys, thanks. Hey, thanks for trading me. Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, that must be a really bad feeling to be with a team that knows they don't want you. That like, yeah, you're a big part of our team. You traded me, and the only reason they didn't go through because it just didn't work out. The guys they failed the physical, or just the money wasn't there. I don't know what the reason was. But they sent him back, so the trade got voided, and the Mookie Betts trade almost got voided as well too. And now that's official. So he's not going to be a Dodger. And like I said, I think in the short term, it's great for the Dodgers. I know the Red Sox got what they wanted. They've been trying to dump payroll for a long time. They still don't have a manager, which is insane with spring training coming up. I heard Rod Renick is going to be the manager, but again, they're going to see if he's got any connections with the whole cheating thing with the Astros and Red Sox. And they want to see what happens if with the fines and suspensions, if they're going to get hammered like the Astros did. So it's just wild. They have no manager, and they probably won't get one for a while because they got to see if this guy had any connection with the cheating, and they got to wait till Major League Baseball's decision to give him punishment for the cheating thing. So that's insane to me. But like I said again, Alex Cora, you're worse than Pete Rose. Please go away. Major League Baseball needs to ban you. You need to be forgotten. Go. I hope this guy doesn't even coach a little league team, let alone a collegiate or a baseball team or anything. This man is a cheater. What he did was absolute fraud. And like I said, he is worse than Pete Rose. Is worse than Shoeless Joe Jackson. No, they should not be in the Hall of Fame because they broke the rules. And Alex Cora broke the rules. He broke the code, and he just needs to go. Ban him forever, Major League Baseball. He's a pariah. He's terrible, and he's a complete and utter fraud. And I hope we never ever hear of this guy ever again. So that's my take on that. We're at the Stables Network, so that's our website. If you ever have any questions or comments about me, it's charliebattsbaseball@gmail.com. You can check out our website, www.charliebats.com, to see what we're doing to bring MLB to Charlotte. And just drop me a line if you ever want to talk about some or on the radio. Let me know. We'll talk about it, and looking forward to it. So that's been what's been going on in sports with the XFL, the whole Jock Peterson mess. Mookie Betts will be a Dodger now, and David Price. That's a pretty interesting name, David Price. I've been very, very harsh on Kershaw lately, but apparently he's got a new choking buddy to go with him, David Price, because you think Kershaw's bad in the playoffs. He ain't seen none yet with David Price. Yep, he did redeem himself with the Red Sox. Yep, he was clutch when they won the World Series, but again, nobody's going to care because they're part of the whole cheating thing. So, but before that, David Price just couldn't get it together. He was like 0-7, something like that. And he's like Kershaw. He's just a great regular season pitcher, but when the playoffs come, man, he's terrible. He's awful. I think he went like 0-7 or something like that in his first playoff start. That's been when we was with Tampa, and then he spent that 1 year in Toronto, which I think was a huge mistake in leaving. Man, he was a rock star in Toronto. He was getting like standing ovations. Toronto was playing really, really good with him, and then he went to the Red Sox. And yeah, he won a title, but I mean, it's tainted, because he cheated. They're cheaters. So we'll see. They said that maybe being in the National League will be a breath of fresh air. It'll help him. I doubt it, but we'll see. But now Kershaw's got a new buddy that both can choke on during the playoffs. So and I'm a Dodger fan. That's the sad part. But like I said, I just tell the truth, and I don't tell people what they want to hear. And that no team is off limits for me. Nobody is. And like I said, and unfortunately, I wish I didn't have to say that about the Dodgers, but they are the Buffalo Bills of Major League Baseball. There is no excuse to win 108 games, 107, 110. They won over 100 games, and they won their division by 21 and a half games. They won their division, which is a record. And they lose in the first round. I mean, there's no excuse for that. I don't care if they're playing the 1927 Yankees with Gehrig and Ruth. There's no excuse for that. And they still keep Dave Roberts, which is a joke. Get rid of him. Bring in Mike Scioscia. He's won a championship with the Angels, and he's a legendary Dodger. He's one of the best catchers in Dodgers history. You know, the man is a great, great manager. You know, and I know he'll go back into being a manager again. He's just taking some time off, or maybe he'll go to the broadcasting for a while, but he'll go back to managing. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that have reached out to him. I'd be surprised if they didn't, and I would be surprised if he said, I just need to relax and be with my family and take a couple of years off, and as soon as I do that and regroup, I'll probably get back into being a manager again. But man, Dodgers, you need to contact Mike Scioscia, because Dave Roberts ain't doing it. Because not only does he, like Kershaw, shrink under pressure, he makes the most boneheaded, dumbest decisions ever. You know, people could say, well, the Astros cheated, so that's why the Astros won. All right, what about the Cardinals? What about the Nationals keeping Kershaw in after he gave up a home run? You need to get rid of Kershaw. I mean, Kershaw's so bad in the playoffs, they had to get their starting star pitcher and put him in the bullpen. That's how terrible he is. I mean, that's like taking Randy Johnson or Nolan Ryan and put him in the bullpen because he can't do anything in the playoffs. And Dave Roberts continuously keeps Kershaw in there because he thinks that, this is Clayton Kershaw. He's one of the greatest pitchers of all time. He's going to the Hall of Fame, which he probably will. He's won Cy Youngs. He's one of the most. He's he's Sandy Koufax. Yeah, but he's Tom Niedenfuer in the playoffs. He chokes. He absolutely chokes. And I've been making excuses for the first couple of times because I thought, well, maybe the Cardinals got his number, but it don't matter who's got his number. It could be a Cal State Fullerton up there in the World Series, and they'll beat him. I mean, he just can't get it together. So I don't know what's going to go on with him. He's such a great pitcher. So it's 162 games. So they don't have to worry about him for a while because he's so great in the season, and when he's not hurt, because he's been hurt. But hopefully he can get it together in the playoffs. Hopefully he can pitch better, and I have no idea, but the man he needs to be banned from the playoffs. If we can ban Cora from baseball, I think we should have a petition out saying, let's ban Clayton Kershaw from the playoffs, please. Because he just can't do it. He can't. And I don't think he ever will. I think it's so embedded in his head right now that he just can't do well. And that's the sad part, because he's such a great player. He's such a great pitcher, but he just cannot get it together. So we'll see what happens with the Dodgers, with Mookie Betts. They look great. Yeah, it's an easy division. They should win that division. Giants are going to look terrible with Gabe Kapler, another stupid hiring, another stupid manager that shouldn't have a job. He's got like muscles. He's probably the most fit manager and probably could win a bodybuilding contest, but that's all he can do. He's not a good manager, and how he got a job right away. But hey, Brad Ausmus's got a job right away, so that was just a stupid hiring by the Giants. I just don't understand that Gabe Kapler getting him. He did nothing with the Phillies. I never thought the Phillies would go to the playoffs, especially with the spoiled brat Bryce Harper. They had no pitching, and so they got rid of him because they just expected to go to the playoffs or go to the World Series, and they didn't do nothing, But so I think they got it right getting Joe Girardi. That was the best. That was a terrific hire. I'm shocked they didn't go to the Cubs. But apparently the Cubs are like dumping payroll or trying to rebuild a little bit, even though they don't want to tell their fans that. So I guess that's why they got rid of Joe Madden. It's the only explanation I have, because Joe Madden's a great manager. And the Angels finally got it right. They hired Joe Madden. Joe Madden's coming back to the Angels, and the Angels will be much improved. I picked them to go to the playoffs. Mike Trout will have another MVP season. Pujols, it's probably, I would say, this last year. He's a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. I think he's close to 700 home runs, which is crazy. Um, I think he's got another year left. After that, he should retire. But I'm probably going to say something that a lot of Angel fans are not going to like. But Albert Pujols never should have been to the Angels. He should have stayed with the Cardinals. He was a superstar there. St. Louis is a baseball place, and he would have been like Stan Musial there, just beloved. And unfortunately, Pujols got greedy. It's all about money. And apparently the Cardinals weren't going to pay him what he wanted. And so he left. And that was the biggest mistake of his career. He's just been a disappointment. All that money. And he just not lived up to that potential. It is so difficult to switch leagues, for one thing. A lot of people don't believe that the leagues are different. They are different. You're playing with different pitchers, different stadiums. It's just different. It's not the same. And so I'm not really surprised that he struggled in the American League, and now he's been breaking down and he's getting old. But Artie Moreno, that was probably one of the dumbest things he ever did, was getting Pujols and signing it to like 10 years. Was his contract 8-year contract, something like that? Some ridiculous amount of years. That was just dumb. And he should have stayed with the Cardinals. He should have retired with the Cardinals. He should have stayed with one team only. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He got all his money. People are not going to remember Albert Pujols. They're going to remember him with the Cardinals, where he just was sensational. But that was one thing about Pujols. He never, ever should have left St. Louis. He should have stayed with the Cardinals. He's been better now. I mean, but like I said, now that he's gotten older, so that happens. But he never should have left. He should have stayed with the Cardinals. He was great there. They would have a statue of him there already. If he stayed there, probably would have won another World Series. We'll never know. But unfortunately, Mr. Pujols got greedy and thought, hey, I'll go to Los Angeles. And I was already shaking my head like, they're not going to care about you out there like they care about you in St. Louis. It's all about Lakers in Los Angeles. I was born and raised there. I know everybody's a Laker fan there. I never was, but people there are Laker fans. That's all they care about. Lakers. They care about the Raiders, even though the Raiders were in Oakland and now they're in Las Vegas. They're still Raider fans there. They're bigger Raider fans in Los Angeles than there are Rams fans. Nobody cares about the Los Angeles Lambs. And they definitely don't care about the Chargers. They couldn't even sell out a soccer stadium. That's how sad it was. And when you ever went to a Charger game, it was like them being on the road, especially when the Steelers and the Raiders were in town. So that's pretty wild to see the Raiders in Las Vegas. I never thought I'd see that day where I saw a pro team in Las Vegas. I lived there for 5 years, from 2001 to 2006. We had no pro teams. And it sucked. It really sucked. And then now that I moved, now they got an NHL team, and now they got the Raiders. The stadium looks great, and I applaud the Raiders. I hope they go all the way. I'm happy for Las Vegas for finally getting a team. And whether they're terrible or whether they're good, they're going to support them because they're happy that they finally have their own team they can cheer for in Las Vegas, and they're going to do well. They're going to do very, very well. And now they're trying to get Tom Brady, which is the most ridiculous story I've heard ever. Tom Brady is not going anywhere. He's not going to he's not leaving. He's going to stay in New England. He's going to retire Patriot. That's what I was telling about. Pujols never should have left the Cardinals. Tom Brady definitely doesn't need to be leaving the Patriots. They're going to make him the highest paid quarterback so he can leave. He'll be there for give him a 2-year deal, it'll be a 1 year with a player option, and he'll retire as a Patriot, and he'll spend all his career with one team, and that's pretty sensational. So I don't see him going there. I know he just bought a house there. Nobody cares if he bought a house there. He's probably got houses everywhere. probably got a house in France. Does that mean he's going to go move and play for a football team in France? No. So too many people look into that because he bought a new house there. If I was a multimillionaire and I buy a house in Las Vegas too, because it's party city. So he's not going anywhere. And Tom Brady's not going to the Raiders. He's not going to the Chargers. He's not moving anywhere. He's going to stay in New England. They're going to give him all his money. And for all the big, massive pay cuts he took to keep the team, now he's like, show me the money. And so now he's testing free agency. And he's been very on a lot of social media lately, which is kind of not something he really does. So I think he's kind of just saying, you know what? My legacy's cemented. I'm open to go to another team. If they don't give me my money, yeah, I'll leave. I'll go somewhere else. Joe Montana was with the Chiefs. Johnny Unitas ended up with with the Chargers. Joe Namath retired as the Rams. It's bizarre to see him as a Ram. Peyton Manning as a Bronco. See a lot of great players go to other teams. Jerry Rice, I never thought Jerry Rice as a Raider and then retiring as a Seahawk. Emmitt Smith with the Cardinals. I mean, I just never. I was just didn't even look right him being in a Cardinal uniform, but it happens. So he might leave. Philip Rivers is leaving. He's going to be with someone else. So Tom Brady with another team, it's very, very slim, but they're going to keep him. They're going to give him like 30-some million bucks, some insane amount of money. And it's like, thank you for being here. You made us relevant. You made us a dynasty. Yeah, we cheated. Hey, so did the Astros. So did the Red Sox. Apparently everybody's doing it. So yeah, but we're the first to do it. So, but they're going to give him all his money. And he's going to go to the Hall of Fame and will be known as one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback of all time. So I wish him nothing but the best. I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan, but you can't ignore his numbers. They're sensational. Most Super Bowls wins as a quarterback. Most Super Bowls ever been in. I mean, he holds every playoff, every touchdown, completion, yardage, whatever you name it, he leads it. So we'll see what happens, and if he wins another ring that with another team, that'd be great. Because I think now people are saying, well, he's a system quarterback. Like if you put him with the Browns, he'll do terrible. Anybody will do terrible with the Browns, okay? Peyton Manning would have done terrible with the Browns, okay? So that's not a good comparison. Browns are an absolute travesty and an embarrassment to professional sports. So that's the knock on Tom Brady, that he's a system quarterback. Well, you know what? I love to be a system quarterback and make all that money and win all the Super Bowls. So hey, call me whatever you want, and I just think people are just jealous and they just got to nitpick about something to just saying he's a great quarterback. No, he's a system quarterback. Belichick developed him. Well, not really, because they didn't expect Tom Brady. They thought Drew Brees would be their starting quarterback for the next 15 years. So we'll see what happens with Mr. Brady if he goes to Las Vegas. But like I said, I doubt it. He'll stay there with the Patriots and try to win another Super Bowl. So that's what's been going on with the XFL, Jock Peterson, Tom Brady. A lot of craziness going on in sports. People are still talking about the Super Bowl, still talking about Pat Mahomes. Now, I guess Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. And I got, before it was Lamar Jackson. Oh man, Lamar Jackson, he's the best quarterback. He's the greatest. And then when he lost, they're like, yeah, forget about him. Now it's Pat Mahomes. and he probably is. He's probably the best quarterback right now in the NFL. I would say that. Breeze is, again, his legacy cemented. They're getting older. Tom Brady's not the same quarterback anymore. Philip Rivers has gotten older. I don't think he was ever one. I think he was always one of the best, but never the greatest. But he's getting older. Now the young people are coming. The Lamar Jacksons, the Pat Mahomes. One from the Giants. He looks pretty good. We'll see what happens. Deshaun Watson, to me, I'll put all my money on Deshaun Watson any time of the day. That guy is sensational, and I knew that when he was going to go to the NFL. I saw him play with Clemson. He's a great quarterback. Just very unappreciated. A lot of people don't know how great he is, but you know he's one of the best quarterbacks there as well. So I think it's Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, probably a couple others that I'm forgetting. But to me, those are the top three in the NFL, in my opinion. And you can put them in any order you want. I don't think you'll get much disagreement, but I would put Mahomes number one right now since he won an MVP. Now he's won a Super Bowl. And congrats to Andy Reid. Get that monkey off his back. I'm very happy with him. I think he coached more games without a Super Bowl victory. So now he's won the Super Bowl. So, and I think that kind of pushed him to go to the Hall of Fame. I think before he was kind of like a borderline Hall of Famer. Maybe he'll get in, maybe he won't. Now they got a ring. Now he's a shoe-in. He'll get in the Hall of Fame. Deserves it. His numbers are there. Took two different teams to the Super Bowl, and now he finally won one. And was their first Super Bowl in 50 years. So, congrats to Andy Reid on that, and congrats to the Chiefs. And we'll see what they do next season. We'll see. It's very hard to repeat, but we'll see if they contend again. Maybe he'll win another one. Maybe they'll be the new dynasty. So I think the Patriots window is pretty much shut now. Even if Tom Brady comes back, because he's 43 years old, for Pete's sakes. And you talk about, his numbers were bad. Man, the guy threw for 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns at 42 years old. That's amazing. So we'll see what the Chiefs do. Maybe they'll be the new dynasty. Maybe they'll be the new Patriots, the new Cowboys, the new 49ers. I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. I don't know. I don't think so. But I think, that Super Bowl hangover, what happens? They win that Super Bowl. They get that monkey off their back. They're happy. And then they come back and they lay an egg. And it happens. It happens. You get very excited. I know I would be. And then you come back and you're just like, oh, we'll win again. We'll win again. And then you don't. It's like the Bears. The Bears in '85 won the Super Bowl, went 15-1, steamrolled the Patriots. Sweetness finally won his Super Bowl. They come back that season and they did great. They won like 13-3 or 14-2, something like that. But they lost in the first round. And I saw a documentary about them, and they just said we were just too busy celebrating. A lot of us came in out of shape because we were partying too much, or we just assumed because we're great. We'll beat anybody. We're going to be a dynasty. And they weren't. The Bears only won that one Super Bowl. They should have won like 2 or 3. They had all their players. There's no excuse for the Bears only win that one Super Bowl. They were that good. They were that dominant. They made a rap video, for Pete's sakes, before the Super Bowl. But again, they just thought we're fine. They became household names, and they just didn't win another one for Mike Ditka. They should have. Mike Ditka should have won 2 or 3 Super Bowls. They only won that one Super Bowl, so it happens. I've seen it all the time. Teams win championships and come back next season, don't do it. The Red Sox, and they were cheating. They didn't even make the playoffs when they won the World Series. So we'll see what the Chiefs do. If Mahomes can stay healthy, and right now, he's projected to be probably one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history, but it's so early to tell. Just one bad play, his knee can go out, and that could be the end of his career. I just remember Terrell Davis, one of the best running backs I ever saw since Barry Sanders. Won 2 Super Bowls, won an MVP, 2,000-yard rusher. Looked like he was going to go down as the greatest running back of all time, and his knee went out. Missed the whole season. Okay, that happens. Tom Brady missed the whole season and he came back. A lot of players do. Comes back again, gets hurt, and gets hurt again, and eventually he had to retire because he just could not stay healthy. And yeah, he is in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he should be because his body of work wasn't good, but I think they put him in because they realized, you know what, if he didn't get hurt, he would have been one of the greatest of all time. And they just went with that. And he won the Super Bowl, and he won two Super Bowls and an MVP. And he had like probably the greatest, shortest NFL career ever since Gale Sayers. He was that good, and his projection was sky high, and he had to retire early because his knees couldn't play. When you're a running back, you need your knees. So that's the only thing I can see stopping Pat Mahomes is him getting hurt, or he just absolutely forgets how to play, and it's just terrible. But congrats to him. He's done a great job. I thought he was all full of hype. I saw him at Texas Tech, and I just thought he just had a big arm, and that was it. But no, he doesn't. He's the real deal. And second year was sensational. What was he do? 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. So we'll see what happens with that. So, like I said, congrats to the Chiefs, congrats to Mahomes, congrats to Andy Reid for winning the Super Bowl. So we're at the Staples Network. I'm Rick Curti, the host of the Charlotte Bats podcast and more. And like I said, we just don't talk about baseball or MLB in Charlotte. We talk about all sports. So if people want to email me, I'm at charlottebatsbaseball@gmail.com. And we could discuss any sport, anything you want. We can even talk about curling if you want. We can talk about beach volleyball. We can talk about archery, running, whatever you want to talk about. We can talk about it on our show. No subject is off limits. Just no politics, no religion, because that always gets you in trouble. So, like I said, we're sports, and that's all we talk about. And like I said, you want to hear the truth? Can you handle the truth with me? I'll tell you the truth. Talk about your team, and I'll tell them, yeah, are they good, or no, are they overrated? And like I said, I'm a Dodger fan, and you've heard me talk about Kershaw. You heard me talk about um, Dave Roberts. What's wrong with the Dodgers? What a joke they are. They're going to keep choking with those two, especially with Dave Roberts there. They don't. So, like I said, nothing's off limits. I've bashed the Panthers. I said Dave Tepper was the best thing to come to the Panthers organization. Now all the Panther fans are angry with me. When I said they were mediocre, and yet Tepper said the same thing. They're mad Ron Rivera's gone, even though he has the same record as Jason Garrett. And I never heard one person say Jason Garrett was a good coach. So, like I said, Ron Rivera here is like Bill Walsh. I mean, they just think he's the greatest thing in the world. And hey, you know what? He just, I wish him the best in Washington, but he needed to go. The Panthers have been terrible ever since they won the Super Bowl. Again, the Super Bowl curse. We'll see what Cam Newton does. I don't have much hope for him. They'll probably bring him and play him. They said they're going to trade him, but they have no quarterback, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. We'll see what happens. So, like I said, you want to email me, I'm at charlottebatsbaseball@gmail.com or at thestablesnetwork.com to hear our podcast, Charlotte Bats Baseball and More Sports. Just email me and just tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it. We can talk about the Hall of Very Good, as I like to call it. The MLB Hall of Fame has been an absolute joke the last couple of years. This year they finally got it right. Larry Walker, I was kind of like, I don't know about it, but I look at his numbers now. I'm like, yeah, he had a great year. Yeah, won a Gold Gloves, won an MVP. Probably would have won the World Series in '94 if it wasn't for the strike, because they were that good. The Expos. Yeah, I have no problem with him in the Hall of Fame. None of the people I have a problem with the Hall of Fame. There's no debate about it, and everyone's still upset that Derek Jeter didn't get in 100% of the votes, which is ridiculous. But What about Hank Aaron? What about Willie Mays? They didn't get 100%. Nolan Ryan didn't get 100%. You know, Randy Johnson didn't get 100%. You know, the only person got 100% is a closer, which I have a problem with because he didn't play every day. And even though Martin Rivera was terrific, he shouldn't have got in by the 100%. 90-some%, yeah. 100%, no. He was terrific at what he did, but he wasn't an everyday player. So that I have a problem with him being the only 100% when so many other players should have gotten it. So many like Willie Mays. What idiot didn't think Willie Mays should be in the Hall of Fame? What idiot didn't think Hank Aaron should be in? What idiot didn't think Nolan Ryan should be in? You know, I can go on. Mike Schmidt. You know, I have like a laundry list of players that should have been 100% votes, and nobody's upset with them. And yet everyone's upset because Derek Jeter didn't get in, and yet he wasn't the greatest Yankee of all time. Babe Ruth didn't get in 100%. Lou Gehrig didn't get it. Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, you know, they didn't get 100%. And yet people are so angry because Derek Jeter didn't get 100% votes. I think he got the fourth or fifth highest total. But it's like, who cares? Who cares? You know, but you know, our generation today, our society today, you know, we have to get angry about something. You know, if somebody wins $1 million prize, they're going to be upset they didn't win a $2 million prize. You know what I mean? People are never happy with anything. They always want to complain, you know, and it's ridiculous. And it's like, who cares? It's like, who cares? Like, you know, now if he got in the Hall of Fame as an owner of a baseball team, then I'd be upset because he's been terrible. And again, superstars make the worst owners and the worst GMs. We have one here with Michael Jordan. He's a terrible owner. Okay, the Hornets are a joke. We lost our best player. He was terrible with the Wizards. Kwame Brown, really? He got fired from the Wizards. You know, the only great thing he's done was bring the Hornets name back because the Bobcat name was atrocious. Nobody cared. They were terrible. Nobody went to the games. Not like they're going to the Hornets games, but it's a lot better now that they're the Hornets. So that's the only good thing that Michael Jordan has done since coming back with the Hornets organization. So we'll see what happens with them. But like I said, superstars make the worst owners. The only one I saw do very well was Larry Bird. He was a great coach, took him to the finals. He's been a good GM. He's been great. He's like one of the few that has done it. And of course, the greatest player / GM, team president is the logo, Jerry West. He's the best. Great player, Hall of Famer. He's the logo, for Pete's sakes. And look what he did with the Lakers organization. Look what he's done with the Clippers. Look what he did with the Warriors organization. And then he goes to the Clippers. And look, he's the one that got Kwame. I'm sorry. He's the one that got Paul George. You know, Paul George went there. And look at how good the Clippers are now. The Clippers, when I was growing up, they were a joke. Elgin Baylor was another great player. Elgin Baylor, he was probably one of the worst GMs ever. You know, and of course we had a horrible owner, Donald Sterling, and he's gone. We all know what he did. Poor Elgin Baylor was just poor guy. You know, the whole Danny Ferry. He was awful. And look at how good the Clippers are now. They got Leonard now. They got George. Doc Rivers is a great coach. Probably would have won a championship if, you know, Chris Paul stayed healthy, or, you know, we don't know. But, you know, to me, they were so bad. And now they've gotten so much better now in a short period of time. They have a terrific owner. I love him. He's great. He's not afraid to spend money. He's very passionate, you know, and he's done a great job reviving that Clippers organization, which was to me the worst organization. Not anymore. We all know who's the worst organization ever is the Cleveland Browns. They're a travesty. They're a joke. They can get uh, Bill Walsh can come back and he would not play good. You can get any coach. Urban Meyer can go to the Browns and he'll be terrible because the ownership is a joke. They've hired so many coaches. They've fired so many GMs. I think they're paying off like 5 contracts right now of coaches that don't even coach there because they've been there for 1 or 2 years. They signed them to like a 4-year, 5-year deal, and they're gone within a year or two. And I guess I got to add another person to the horrible owners list. You got Jordan, who's a horrible owner. Daniel Snyder's a horrible owner. James Dolan's a horrible owner. I guess I'm going to put Haslam up there as a terrible owner because that man is beyond clueless. I saw the press conference for the new coach, Stefanowski. Seems like a great guy, very smart. He's young. I think he's like 37 years old. I hope he does good. I really do. He sounds great at this press conference. He's very passionate. He's very intelligent. But this is the Browns, and I know you want to be a head coach, but man, I would just, if I wanted to be a head coach and the Browns didn't want to interview me, I'd say, no, thank you. I want to be a head coach, but I don't want to be set up to fail. No, thank you. Appreciate it. Good luck. I'm out of here. I'll go get a head coaching job somewhere else. But I would pass on the Browns because they're that bad. You got that idiot Baker Mayfield. And now he says he was very humbled by this year. Yeah, whatever. You got the other diva idiot and Odell Beckham, who wears a Rolex watch during the game and wants to know why people are picking on him. It's just another diva, another drama, and a diva. All about me. Look at me. That's why they traded him. That's why the Giants got rid of him. They put him in no man's land like that. We don't care what happens to him. So Browns will be another joke. They'll go. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I see them going like 6-10 next year. I don't think this head coach is going to hang around for a long time, unfortunately. That's a shame. Seems like a nice guy, very young, but got to start somewhere. So we'll see what happens with him. So that's the end of our broadcast tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in. You want to contact me? I'm at charlottebatsbaseball@gmail.com. I'm Rick Curti, your host of the Charlotte Bats podcast and more, and I'll see you next Monday. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.